Today I'd like to talk about the best Chevy Express roof rack that I have found. So I've done extensive research on these dang roof racks, and I gotta say that, you kind of go down this huge wormhole of trying to figure out what the best roof rack is for you if you own a Chevy Express. And I spent hours going through all of these products on Amazon. These roof racks, they kind of have varying reviews. And I found that, a lot of times if the roof rack was under 200 bucks, that a lot of times the reviews, a lot of people said that they had rusted through, like the actual roof rack was rusty within a year, or it was just kind of made with thinner material. So I gotta say, after doing tons and tons of extensive research, this is the one that I purchased. As you can see, it's pretty recent too, right? It's called the MELIPRON 850-pound van roof ladder rack. I also think this is a big variable of how much weight your roof rack can hold on top of it, because some of the roof racks, they couldn't hold like nearly as much weight. And I think that's actually something to think about. Not a lot of people think about that. And one thing that I read in the reviews that really kind of bothered me was the fact that these roof racks were rusting after a year's worth of use, especially in salt, like in states where they use a lot of salt in the wintertime. And it's like, man, if I'm going to buy a brand new roof rack, I feel like the thing shouldn't be rusting within a year's time. You know what I mean? So what I want to do next is I want to show you this roof rack on my Chevy Express and just talk about why I think this is the best roof rack for a Chevy Express van. All right, so it is raining, but I don't think that's going to matter when talking about the roof rack. So as you can see, this is the roof rack on the Chevy Express. And what I did was I actually sanded down the roof rack and I actually coated it in bed liner. So I was pretty worried about this stuff rusting. So what I did was I sanded it down and painted it. So the reason I think this is the best roof rack for a Chevy Express is because it has these tie downs on the side. It tightened up real snug here for the Chevy Express, this like lip and channel. As you can see, my kayak's up there. And of course, because it can hold 850 pounds, whereas a lot of the other cheaper ones that were below $200 couldn't. So this is my conversion van. I'm kind of turning it into that conversion-like setup. It's actually a pretty cool build. Check out the back here. I got a diesel heater running. But yeah, subscribe to the channel if you like these videos. I do think this is the best roof rack. It has the best tie downs. It connects to the van really good. And also it kind of has these like center things you can put down there to center things. And this is extremely stable here, this midsection. I thought about possibly welding all of that together, but I don't think we're gonna go ahead and do that because it seems super strong the way it is. Yeah, I had no idea it was raining outside. Sorry about that. But I do think that getting an idea of what it's gonna look like on your Chevy Express is really kind of a good thing to look at. So I've been using this roof rack for quite some time now. We've been throwing kayaks up there, paddle boards. I'm not using that 850-pound maximum, but I do think, spending that extra money for that thicker steel. And also this roof rack, it actually came with a really strong, like thick coated, it was almost like dipped into a plastic coating instead of some of that thin paint, whereas I think some of the other roof racks were rusting through. I do think that is a variable, but consider sanding yours down lightly and just spraying it with bed coating, because I do think that it's gonna help it like drastically last a lot longer, especially if you live where they salt the roads like I do here in Minnesota. Guys, I'll put my affiliate link down below. Consider using that to kind of help support me and my family. I do earn as an Amazon affiliate. So hopefully this video helped you figure out the best roof rack for your Chevy Express. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.